Good evening, all you creatures of the night. We take you on a journey on the outskirts of town to a summer camp for teenage boys and girls. The sun's rays beaming down, warming your skin. The cool, refreshing cover of the camp lake providing sanctuary. A time for children to partake in recreation. A time to be young. A time to kindle relationships with young boys and girls. Or a time to die. Young boys and girls are being drowned, stabbed, burned, and stung without remorse at an unrelenting pace. The counselors are worried. The campers can't sleep. Will summer come to an end first, or will it be your life? This is It Records. Hey everybody, it's me, one of your hosts for the It Records podcast, Matt Johnson. And I am joined as always with my lovely host, but my magnanimous host, the brilliant, suave, just all-around charming host, Peter Hansen, we got over here.
Thank you.
And of course we have Lindsay Clark. I had to do a big one. I had to do a big one because I didn't do one last week to Pete.
Wow,
It's
you were
true.
so off the cuff with Lindsay.
He doesn't know
Didn't even
what to
give her
say.
any props there. It's pretty rude.
Yeah. Well, I can try to come up with another quip.
Nah.
Do you prefer I just
Nah.
say your name? I know Pete would.
Just say my name really fast and just move on.
Okay. I know Pete would prefer that, but I do it just to get under his skin.
Yeah, well.
So what movie did we do again, Matt? You didn't tell us.
Oh, I didn't. That's right. So this week, everybody, we did the movie that I chose. It is the 1983 classic film, cult classic, I'd say, Sleepaway Camp, directed by Robert Hiltzik. Am I pronouncing that right, Pete? Would you?
You're asking the wrong guy to know how to pronounce words. You should know that.
I don't.
You
I didn't call his
you
Asian
read
up.
you read my articles in the newspaper when we were working together.
I did. I was the editor of those
I don't.
when they would come in.
All three tenses in the same sentence.
Those had to be
Hey,
corrected.
nice.
So we did Sleepaway Camp this week. It's 1983.
Dear Mom and Dad, I've been at a sleepaway camp for almost 3 weeks. And I'm getting very scared.
Welcome to Sleepaway Camp. Someone is watching you.
Hey, Baba, reload!
Someone is waiting for you. Someone wants to scare you to death.
Turn it! Turn the wheel! Oh my God!
Sleepaway Camp. You won't be coming home.
So it's in the heart of that 80s horror that Pete loves, and it's a slasher genre. And for those of you who haven't seen it, I don't think it's too popular mainstream. It's got a cult following. I'll give you a quick rundown of what the plot is. We follow Angela Baker. She's a teenage girl. She's traumatized and she's very shy. She's sent to a summer camp with her cousin. This is Ricky, correct? Ricky's the cousin?
Ricky Thomas.
Yeah.
Ricky Thomas, okay. And shortly after her arrival, some murders begin to assume at camp something sinister is afoot. Kids start dropping like flies, and we don't really know what's going on. But we're following Angela Baker and her cousin Ricky. And that's essentially the film. It's a tight 87 minutes, I believe. Very quick.
That is very short.
And I
It's
feel
even less than that because of the credits.
Oh,
Yeah, which are like 3 minutes.
the credits are 3 minutes, and I also loved the 10-minute baseball scene in the middle of this movie that I felt like just went on and on. Like every inning, every pitch was used because I needed to make up
True.
some time.
that was like 10-year-olds versus like 18-year-olds.
Yeah, but I think they're supposed to be like 1 year apart. I thought they were
I think
supposed
you're
to.
Did
right.
not seem
they
like
were
that at all.
trying to sell us on that.
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought we got Ricky and his friend. Who's his blonde-haired
Paul?
friend? Paul. I thought it was a P. They look like young teenagers and Angela, and then the people they're playing look like they could be in their 20s. But I feel like
adults,
they're meant to be just the age group above.
Got it.
Did not get that impression. I thought they were like camp counselors. It's like, because they were so much older. I was just like, and then like the younger kids beat them.
Yeah, ruthlessly beat that. I thought it wasn't even a game.
Slaughter rule.
Well, in that very smooth transition, they told us, I mean, who was winning the game when, Ricky and Paul met up at second base, and they said, "You know what the score is? I think it's 11-8. All right," and then cut. All right. Thanks. I didn't need to know the exact score.
Perfectly
any.
executed.
It's top of the 7th. It's 2 outs.
Yeah, that's essentially what that scene was. I got a guy
full
on third.
That was weird.
Well,
Yeah.
we want to talk about characters.
No. I would love to talk about characters. I'd love to talk. I mean, I had seen this movie once before. Peter, you've seen it, correct?
Yes, I have.
But this is Lindsay's first go around, correct?
This is new to me.
So I am super excited to get into characters and plot and just get your reactions to all of it. So if you want to take off anything that stuck out to you.
Okay, well, I'm gonna start with Judy because she really stood out to me in a very negative way. But she did what she was supposed to do as kind of one of the villains, so to speak. So Judy is, I guess, her and Ricky Thomas had been going steady the previous summer, and I think he was kind of hoping to pick things up where they left off, but she wasn't really feeling it. She is evil and she's obnoxious, and I feel like her character is just, it wasn't a character, it was a caricature of what a villain's supposed to be. She's just so over the
With her
top.
side ponytail.
Yeah.
Oh, she had one badass side ponytail though. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, she's just crazy and yeah, she's just the worst.
She was very
So,
distinctive.
Yeah, she is. And
She's very memorable.
I don't know why. Why you gotta be so I don't know. So there's Judy. She's, she definitely terrorizes Angela. Everyone kind of picks on Angela, because she's quiet. She kind of makes her a target, I guess. And then, Ricky comes to her defense, literally every time, which, is good, and he should. But, so there's Judy, kind of going back a little bit, right before they're sent off to camp, they're, with their Aunt Martha. Well, it's Angela's Aunt Martha and Ricky's mom. She, let's talk about her. She is one eccentric lady.
Please. She was the highlight of this movie for me and
She
continues
was.
to be. Oh,
Can I pause you guys there for a second?
yeah.
Okay.
This brings me to a very funny moment to another podcast where they talk about the intro, because the opening of this movie is pretty insane, I would say. And then if you guys listen to How Did This Get Made podcast, they are just trying to decipher the logic of this opening thing, and it's pretty funny.
Yeah. I have watched that episode.
Yeah. And just to try and explain it, I feel is this humorous. And I don't know, do we want to go down that same path or just kind of abridge it?
I think we could address it I guess kind of address it, but you were saying that the aunt is Ricky's mom, correct, Lindsay?
Yeah. Yes.
That's what you believe it to be. Okay.
Yes.
And so then Angela is her niece.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. That's kind of what I picked up from the first watching, but you could pick up a different relationship, I guess, is what the other podcast was saying, right, Pete?
Yeah, they thought it was like their mom, and then
That's
I don't know.
that's
it
actually
gets real-
Angela's mom. Is that because? So for the podcast listener, back up even further. One of the first scenes is it's a freak boat accident where two
Yes.
kids are on a boat. We assume that to be Angela and her brother, and
Yes.
their father. And a man at the beach calls over that someone's coming home. So they need
The doctor.
The doctor's coming home,
The-
and they need
yeah.
to get off the water. But a freak accident happens where there's this other boat comes over and kills the dad and the son. Okay. So what the other podcast posits is that this is the mother of Angela. So that because since the father's dead, she'd be with the mother.
Right.
And it's Ricky's aunt instead. But I don't know if that tracks the rest of the movie.
See, that makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
but in the movie, that's not what they do. I feel like they have a very like aunt and niece relationship. It really feels like that.
Yeah, and I also think, I mean, that's kind of what I picked up on when I was first watching it. But then even when they get to the camp, Ricky says, that's just my mom, or whatever, when she drops him off. So I
Yeah.
think that settles that point of it. But
Yeah.
it leaves a lot of questions. Where's the mother of these kids? If that's the father died, why would they go to the aunt? I guess
True.
that there's no mother in the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Huh.
da-da-da.
Interesting theory.
But anyway, that's the opening. We can get to the aunt now. We can talk about what makes her so unique to us.
Her acting,
Yeah. She.
Pretty like
the choices,
pretty subtle, pretty like level and human. Would you say?
I would say the actress might actually be insane. I don't know if I'm overstepping my bounds there, but she was just like the way she talks is so maniacal, and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm so scared of you.
Yeah. Angela, Ricky,
Yeah.
I've got your lunch.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wasn't
do
that
I?
nice
got,
of
like-
me?
Yes.
She like says
got their
that a
names
couple of
on it.
times, and I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, it
Yeah, it
seems like
was.
she's talking as if like nobody's there almost, or like she never makes eye contact with
She's
anybody
like a
in the
Stepford
room.
wife, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's real weird.
And I think that's why the other podcast posited that it's the mother, because they said it was like a psychotic break from the husband and her child being killed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
That
get
does make
that.
sense
That
to
makes
me.
sense.
Because she
It makes
mentions
sense, but
she mentions how her husband left her, right?
I think so, yeah.
So I can't actually see where.
there's just a whole lot going on in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In this 87 minutes, there's a lot going on
Packs
in
a
the first 10
punch.
minutes.
Yeah, so much goes on. It's so hard to connect the relationships between everybody. Mm-hmm. And then we're thrown into the
And
camp.
we didn't even get to like the relationship of the man and the husband
Yeah,
who were lovers.
yeah. We get a little flashback.
That you find
from
out. Yeah, I want to say that's like in the middle of the movie.
that. It was a very.
Yeah, roughly.
I didn't question it when I watched it, but it didn't pertain like at all to what was going on currently in the scene. I think it was like Angela was
No.
dreaming or something.
Yeah, it was real out of place.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, where did that come from?
I want to say, it was the 80s, so there probably was like, they're like the moral panic or whatever. They're just like, ooh, look how scary this is. That's I don't know. That's my take on it.
Okay.
That there's like, what can we do to make this scarier?
Uh-huh.
Let's
Okay.
add this non-traditional relationship to really freak out the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I don't know. I was gonna try to connect some dots, but I think I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole if I try to do that.
Yeah,
Because
I think we're gonna follow the same things that the How Did This Get Made do if we go down that road.
yeah, I guess I'll pass on it. But all right, I guess I'll let it slide.
Give me a 1 minute recap of your thought.
Of my thoughts? Sure, I can do a 1 minute recap.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
father dies, right, and one of the children, and she goes to live with their aunt. Is what we hear. Okay, so let's say their actual mother's dead, so they would go to the next of kin, which would be this aunt. She says that she's a doctor in the scene. Okay.
Yes.
She says she's a
I think
doctor. The man on the beach, the lover, says the doctor's coming home. So, and then she also says the aunt that her husband left her. So, what's happening is that man is married to the aunt, okay, who's having a relationship with their dad, which would be his brother-in-law. There's a gay relationship with his brother-in-law. He dies. He leaves because of the trauma, or he's gay, doesn't want to be with a female anymore. So then she stays, and she's the next of kin for Angela.
Yeah, I would say that matches my theory
Not bad.
as well.
That's what this movie's given me. This is the thoughts this movie.
We need like a flow chart of like
Yeah. We'll put that-
with a lot of different arrows going all over the
Put
place.
that on the website.
That makes sense to me, though.
Yeah. Makes sense for Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah.
So, I want to point out the craziest things I think is like real creepy is like when they first go to the camp, that fucking cook, that real pedophile guy.
I hate him.
I mean,
everybody should.
as you should, as you should.
Mm-hmm.
But, like,
He
I
was a
hate
real-
him.
Yeah.
He was a fucking. I mean, he's a monster.
Yeah.
Not only is he a monster, like his actions, but he's so open about it. Like
Yeah.
he's talking in front of
It's
a group
so
of
casual.
people of like, I call these nakies or nakeds or whatever. Baldies. Baldies is what he calls them.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh my
He's like
god.
licking his lips, and the guy next to him is laughing about it. He's like, "This is
Yeah.
inappropriate, sir. He shouldn't be saying these things."
It's just like, it's just being one of the guys. I don't know.
Oh yeah, locker room talk.
Ugh.
Oh god. And then there's James Earl Jones's dad, who's the assistant cook,
Yeah,
who takes over for the pedophile cook because he is fucking boiled. Like he's still alive.
He was still alive?
He was because
Okay.
he's taken to the hospital in an ambulance, and I don't know if you because there is an uncut version of this movie. Like there's more gore scenes.
I don't think I watched it.
Where did you watch it?
Amazon.
Interesting. I don't know if it's too much longer, but the one I own on iTunes, it definitely there's a difference because I'm familiar with the company that put it out, and they always do like usually the uncut version is usually what their final product is.
Okay.
But you see like the burns that he has like after the fact,
Okay.
and then he's like being dragged to the ambulance, and
Okay.
how the camp owner's like, I refuse to close the camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Don't tell anybody
adamant.
about this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't tell anybody. He slipped. He tripped. He's fine. He had to go away. Yeah. But
Yeah, that was pretty much the song he was singing throughout the entire movie.
yeah, after each killing,
After each
Yeah.
and every one.
he tried,
Like the kid who died from bees,
which was
who was like allergic
amazing.
to bees.
That was an amazing. death.
Yeah.
She
That
brings
was
in a
creative.
bee. Yeah.
I have to say, like, all of these deaths were, like, pretty creatively done. Like,
That's true.
you do have to say that.
Yeah, for like a slasher film, they were pretty creative. Not really. Many of them didn't really use a knife or like a chainsaw or something, or a
Yeah.
machete with or like finger gloves. It was really creative.
Yeah, there was none of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really took from like resourcefulness, which
Exactly.
is probably I don't remember seeing it too often in many movies, like where like almost anything is a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Because usually, like in slasher movies, which is like they have their signature weapon, and then
Yeah.
like
Right.
sometimes Jason and Michael use their brute strength or another weapon, but like this is like different because like a beehive, like
Yeah,
that's-
they just improvised, you know?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing I like to point out is like the dialogue in this movie, because sometimes, as horrible it is, it's also fucking phenomenal. Where it's like, eat shit and die, Ricky. And then Ricky goes, eat shit and live.
Oh, that's great.
Fucking, I love that line so much.
Yeah, you know.
Because it's like delivered so well.
Oh, there's some
Agreed.
great lines in this movie.
Yeah.
That's the one that I remember. And then, like Lindsay was saying, was it Judy or Trudy? I always think it was Trudy, but it's Judy, right?
Yeah.
It's Judy. Yeah.
Yeah, and then she has like a little squad of like other mean girls, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
You remember the one that was like shaking Angela, like, "What's wrong with you?"
Was it Meg?
I have no idea.
Didn't like her either.
Yeah, Meg is the one who's dating Mel,
Okay.
the old camp counselor,
Yeah, which
the owner
is
of the camp.
Messed up. on its
crazy.
own. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's got to be like. I'm surprised they got away with that.
She might
'cause,
be like 16.
What is she?
Like at
Yeah.
18 at most. I feel like if you're at she's not even a counselor, right? She's just like
No, I thought she was a kid.
I thought
she's-
she was. But
you think
I don't know.
She could have been a counselor, but I didn't get that because she hung out with Judy, who was
yeah.
like a kid there,
Okay. Huh.
right?
Yeah. Regardless, she's way too young for
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
no
he's
matter.
like
like,
Cause,
he's
like-
like 90. I feel like
Because like
he's pushing 100.
Judy got cool. She thinks she's cool now because she like basically went through puberty.
Yeah.
Is basically what happened, and then she's like, I'm gonna date some dudes."
I'm gonna date
like
every
her-
dude I can.
Her goal.
no. Okay. Yeah.
She tries to like seduce Ricky again at some point, and then like Ricky. And the parts, it's like when they were playing like capture the flag.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Judy's the worst.
There's some great scenes in this movie.
Yeah.
Do you know there's a movie about Judy coming back
Is
to
there?
Sleepaway Camp?
Well, there's
Oh,
there's
I
several.
am so glad she comes back. Wait a
There's-
minute.
There's 2 sequels to this movie.
Well, there's more than 2, right?
Yeah, there
There's
are
two-
like
there's
5.
Yeah.
There's wait, what?
There's
There's
Sleepaway
like
Camp,
4 more.
Sleepaway Camp, Unhappy Campers, Sleepaway Camp 3 something. I don't remember the whole name.
It's Teenage Wasteland. I
Teenage
wanna say.
Wasteland. Then 4 is Return to
You're right.
Sleepaway Camp, and
Which is the one with Judy?
Judy's because
That's the one with.
I know Ricky's back in that one. Oh, you want
Okay.
to know what?
That's-
That's why. The guy who played one of the only guys who doesn't die. I forget his name. He's like one of the older kids that hangs out on the other baseball team who lives. He wrote and directed the last one, he helped produce it. He helped produce it, so he brought back a lot of the other cast members.
No shit.
I love like the baseball team people because they want to skinny dip so bad and they're all like 80s bros
That was
and
To the finest
Awesome.
degree.
and it was like, what are you? Everyone's like, what are you doing here? When it's like the killer and they're just like, I hate you, and then like
yeah.
he dies.
Oh, it's you.
Yeah.
Yeah, very hostile greetings.
What are you doing here?
That's
So
great.
funny.
Oh, that's a great skinny dipping scene. All those pale male buns just in a
Ooh.
row running to the lake
That was a
together.
sore sight for eyes.
Right?
Because they tried to trick the girls into going, and none of them went. Right? That's what happened.
Yeah, they thought like, we'll just all strip down and run in a line together into the water, and they'll all join us.
They thought.
If we all go together, there's no way they won't come.
That's essentially the logic.
I feel like there's this company, this movie. Why did I say company? This movie is just riddled with like the most ridiculous characters you could put together on the screen.
I feel like everyone's kind of over the top. Everyone overacts maybe a little bit, but that's okay. You know, you got your parts camp, you got your parts humor, horror. I think it works. You know.
Yeah, I think it works together beautiful because it's just like
Yeah, and I think
it
what
makes a
people
great
enjoy
87
is
minutes.
kind of what we touched upon is it's a
It
little
really does.
different than those other slashers at the time. Like there's different creative deaths, even though the plot and logic might not be all tight, like perfect. It's just an entertaining movie, and it's a little different than what you're used to seeing. But it still fits that genre.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Mm-hmm.
Well, even like think about the time frame. Like 83 was pretty early on, but there was like so many slashers that were coming out between 80 and 83, like fucking like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like ones that come to my mind are like My Bloody Valentine, April
Yeah.
Fool's Day maybe, unless that was later. I could have sworn that was more of an earlier one though, but I could be wrong. But My Bloody
is Fri-
Valentine's definitely that's 1980.
When is Friday
And
the
that one's
13th?
like-
The first one is that 80?
A very what's up?
80? Yeah, so that's around that time too. Another camp killer one.
It's 80. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second one definitely was like 81, 82.
Yeah.
Like there was at least like one other Friday the 13th that came out,
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sure. I feel like there was a second Halloween by that time.
and maybe a second Halloween.
That one came out like 77, 78? 78. Mm-hmm. But I think what,
Yeah,
I
that
don't want
sounds
to spoil
right.
anything, but I think what brings people to this movie, or people enjoy about this movie, is the twist ending. I mean, the killer's revealed like any sort of slasher film.
Yeah.
Whew.
You don't really see it until the end, but it's a definite twist ending. I don't know if we give that away, spoil it, but
It's
I feel like-
crazy. Are we
Yeah.
doing spoilers?
we do.
We usually
Yeah.
do. We usually do spoil everything,
I was gonna say because I gotta
which
talk.
is it. It's pretty. We're pretty bad about that, but I mean, we could just say,
Yeah, we
just
do.
give a little
We
disclaimer
usually say spoiler alert.
that we
and
just spoil everything.
I feel like you have to talk about this one. Like if other movies we went, this one is kind of huge.
I feel like you do.
Because there's not much else to talk about because, like, as great as this
Mhm.
movie is, the plot is just, like, going to camp,
Yeah.
people are getting killed, and, like, there's, like, various camp things, like the dance, which is weird. Like, Angela's love interest
Yeah,
is
she starts to open up to him.
confusing.
Like she's quiet, doesn't talk to anybody, and then she actually starts to talk normal when she meets Paul.
Yeah, and then, like,
Yeah.
and then, like,
Yeah,
he seems like a nice guy, but then he, like, seems like he's kind of after something,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
and is 16
Mhm.
or something. But it's pretty bold for a 16-year-old, I would say. Maybe I'm saying it and feel like I'm old, but I don't think I was like that when I was 16. I remember having a lot of crushes at 16, but I don't think I had the audacity to act on them.
Yeah, Paul was bold.
Yeah, he was. He was. There was a fight on the dance floor. He broke it up. He was starting to walk away, and he turned, saw Angela, looked back, and made his move.
It was love.
He went in. Rest is history.
Who is the most insane character to you guys?
Oh, there's a
There's
lot.
just so many to choose from.
Yeah, I know. I mean, up there for me is the aunt. who
Yeah.
We'll play a clip of. We got one of her scenes in there for you guys to just. You don't have to see it.
Should we...
I mean, you can just listen to
I
it.
feel like we should just take a time to actually go on YouTube and look at it, because I think it's well worth looking at.
Yeah,
Sure.
you're right.
Yeah, I got it up. So.
And I want... yeah, take it away, Matt, because Which one... So what's the clip that you're specifically talking about?
Sleepaway Camp, Creepy Aunt Martha.
Is it really called that?
Yeah, it's called Creepy Aunt Martha.
That's funny. I did not know... I don't know anyone's characters' names besides Angela and, like, Ricky.
Well, you got
Yeah.
you got Peter, you got Paul, you got Judy, you got Meg, you got Mel, and you can't forget about Mozart. How can you forget about Mozart?
Yeah.
Who the hell is Mozart?
He's the nerd, like that they just the nerd in quotes that they randomly pick on. I mean,
Oh, okay, that was bogus.
Wait, I don't remember him like literally at all.
what? It's like there's literally a scene that like drags on where they're like he's sleeping in the middle of the day, and they're all laughing and talking at full volume, and they do the shaving cream on the face.
Oh
And
yeah.
he like pulls a knife out on him.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucked up.
And then Mozart makes like a dazzling catch in the outfield. He's like on his like little Game Boy or whatever it was at the time.
yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's
Totally.
gonna hit off his head.
Forgot about
Classic, like nerd in the outfield reading a book or playing his game. But no, he like shuts the game down, makes the catch, makes a spectacular catch.
Yeah, he came through beautifully when you least expected it.
Yeah, look at Mozart go.
I'm about to play this
Oh, yeah, I got it too.
creepy
Yeah,
Aunt
let's
Martha
hear
thing
this.
because
Angela, Ricky.
late for the bus.
Oh my god! Don't forget your physicals when you go to camp. Is that a thing? Are physicals required to go to a camp?
I think they are.
Are they? I guess I'm out of touch with legal camp law.
I was gonna say, I don't know. I never went to Sleepaway Camp.
Chips? Why, of course. I believe there's a whole
Let's see this.
I like,
bag.
wasn't that nice of me? Like, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
She keeps
Just
saying
compliments
that.
herself.
Angela, isn't there anything special my little girl would
She might
care
take the
for?
cake, actually.
Yeah,
We gotta go,
I mean,
Mom.
she's
It's
pretty-
getting late.
she's
Why,
pretty
of course
crazy.
you do, dear. We wouldn't want them to leave without us, now would we?
I think a close second
No?
is actually the
Oh, I'm
camp
afraid
owner
Mhm.
because his outright refusal to
Come,
close
children. Let's
camp
be on
after-
our way.
each death and has an excuse like
Mhm.
the mayor in Jaws,
Oh yeah.
and how he has this secret relationship with
Now
a
what?
kid
I believe
slash
that I've
counselor,
forgotten something.
person way
Now
younger than
what
him.
could it be?
And then almost
How he almost beats
Oh, I
Ricky to
remember
death
what it
because
is.
he
I
thinks
knew I
Ricky
would
is the
forget.
killer.
I
Mhm.
just
He's
kept
like,
He's like, I
Side
know it was you. He just
In fact,
pounds
I
him
had a
into the
string around-
ground,
Yeah.
which is
around
insane.
my finger so I wouldn't forget.
Oh, tie a ribbon on your finger. That is weird.
That's-
That's
yeah.
a weird thing to say. So I wouldn't forget.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
tie a ribbon around your finger.
Well, what is it already?
Yeah.
That's like an old thing where you would like you would just tie a piece of string or something on your finger
I'll be right
so you'd
back.
see it. So you'd remember like that you have to do something.
At it again.
It's like
So
really
that
really
actually
old.
was a thing.
Like really old.
I've actually
Yeah.
I thought
never
that was
heard
just
of that.
her. Like,
I
being
think it's like
crazy.
older than the 80s, but she was
Why,
doing
they're
it in the
your
80s.
physicals, of course.
Uh-huh.
We can't go to camp without our physicals now, can we?
I. That seems like a
Careful
real
not to tell anyone how you
turn of
got
the century thing to do.
them. No, I'm afraid
If
they
I'm
wouldn't
taking a
approve
guess,
of
because
that
I
at
have no
all.
idea.
Gosh.
Even though they know that
Martha,
I
you
am a
take the
doctor.
cake.
No matter what they
She
do, I'll
nailed
never
it.
tell. Oh, you're such a dear.
Well, should we
Well,
said no
run
spoilers, but
along
we didn't
now.
touch on it. Should we
So
hit
long, Mom.
the ending of what
I
happens?
really. I think we should.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I want to talk about it. I have questions.
I think we all do.
So,
Okay, so what happens is several people are, they're killed at this camp, as we've been talking about. But the movie's focused on Angela. And you get kind of the vibe, I felt like during the movie, that it's either Angela or Ricky being the killer. Because every time someone makes fun of Angela, that person would die. So
yeah.
it's either
Mhm.
Angela or like Ricky looking out for her or something like that. So we get to the end of this movie. Things are heating up. Ricky almost dies. And it's Paul and Angela on the beach. And she appears to be nude, with Paul laying on her lap. And the two camp counselors walk up behind them. They call out to her. And what we see is Paul's head is detached. And Angela stands up. And she has a penis. And then we're kind of flashed back to say that it was Peter, her brother. Like Angela and Peter were the two kids at the beginning, and that Angela died. Peter was sent to the aunt, and then the aunt raised her to be a girl.
Because she always wanted a girl.
She always wanted a girl, and she already had Richie. And then the movie kind of ends with Angela / Peter with a knife, mouth agape, screaming.
And that was it.
And the movie ends.
Which is quite startling when you don't know what's coming. How did you feel about that, Lindsay, as you were the new viewer to this?
Well, okay, like, I kind of had realized, okay, the killer is Angela, like, pretty late, I have to say. Like, you know, within probably maybe 10 minutes of the movie ending, something like that. And I was like, hey, okay, that's a pretty good twist. Like, alone. Like, I thought that alone was pretty good. And then, and then I see the end, and I'm just like, holy shit. Like, I just didn't see that coming, you know?
Yeah. You and the rest of us.
And I was just like, okay, like, that was pretty good. But what I want to ask you guys, because I'm not following kind of, like, the character's motivation to just be killing everybody that offends, you know, her or her cousin. Like, where does that come from? You know, obviously she has been very traumatized by what happened, you know, to her family in the past. But I need to know, like, where do you think that motivation was coming from?
I want to say, I'm going to take the gun for a second here,
Sure.
Matt, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
I saw it as Peter / Angela, got messed up from her father and sister dying, and was raised as a different gender without wanting to be that gender, which messed them up even more. That's how I took it.
Right.
And I don't know if you guys are on the same page or you had something else in mind.
Could you just rehash that real quick? Because mine might be similar.
Yeah. Okay. So, Angela / Peter got messed up real bad from the death of a sibling and father, and was raised as the opposite gender without wanting to be that gender.
Yeah.
So it caused more problems down the road because they were forced to basically be something that they weren't.
Yeah.
So it caused more problems. That's how I saw it, and maybe thought that's what the filmmaker was going for.
Yeah.
As like a shock value kind of thing, but that's kind of like how I read into it.
Killing people just seems so extreme, though.
Yeah, it seems very extreme. But I mean, maybe they're just going with that psychosis. I mean, like, it was just like a major shock. First your dad and your sister die.
Yeah.
And then you're forced to be the other gender. So that it's just sort of almost like not really Norman Bates acting as his mother sort of a thing, but you just kind of snap. And every time that Angela felt like Peter felt like sexually objectified as Angela, if he wanted to be Angela, and you confronted him as Angela, and just like their identity, like Judy making fun of them, Paul's advances, even though he seemed to be like the most nice to her besides Ricky, or the other 16-year-old counselor who died, the cook's advances, any sort of like aggression towards their identity or like who she was, she lashed out. He lashed out. He didn't know how to control it. And it was like maybe one of the first times that Angela, we don't know, maybe it was one of the first times Angela was introduced to people outside of Richie and his Aunt Martha.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Since the incident, and wasn't used to those situations, and that's how they broke.
Okay.
Well, how old were they in the beginning? I felt they were younger, and it's been a few
8 years.
Yeah.
Exactly 8 years.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what
only
it-
been
Oh,
8
okay.
years.
That's what it says. It says that after the incident, it goes 8 years later. So it's 8.
Oh, I don't remember that part.
It's 8 years
Yeah.
since the accident.
Okay. So, do you think there was 8 years of seclusion and, like, homeschool by this person? Because, like, they're a doctor and probably could have gotten some sort of certification to teach a child.
Yeah.
Homeschool.
That's my theory.
That's
is that she has not left the
entirely
house until this
possible.
camp.
That makes
would
sense.
be crazy, which makes the aunt even crazier.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Entirely. Okay.
Yeah. That's my thought.
Or we were giving this movie too much credit.
Yeah.
But
I think
besides that,
that's more along the line.
I wholeheartedly defend this movie.
Yeah.
Because it's very enjoyable because it's very creative with its deaths.
Yeah.
The lines are ridiculous,
Mm-hmm.
and the twist ending is very memorable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you're defending it right now.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I defend it as well. I mean, it's 83% even on Rotten Tomatoes. Like people enjoy this movie. It was a hit at the box office. Like it earned $11 million, and it was like under $500,000 to make. So people like this movie. It has its flaws, but it's very entertaining. And I think, as we said, it's creative deaths. It's a female killer. Well, and it's kind of, a transgender killer. We don't really get any closure in the first movie. You can it's thrown at you in the last seconds of the movie. So I think that's something that I don't know if they had that in slashers at the time, was even a female killer, Angela Baker. Which it kind of plays on, if I can, in my defense of it. I've talked about Freudian ideas in the past with Val Lewton and stuff. The whole idea of the androgynous killer in slasher movies. Literally, I mean, we thought she was a female and she's a male in this movie. And a lot of the water motifs, as I've said, symbolize feminine qualities and birth and rebirth. It's at the camp. 3 out of the 6 major killings are with water in some capacity. And then there's the bees, which is the queen bee runs the hive. So I think they kind of, maybe giving credit to the screenwriters and setting up that you should know it's Angela based on these clues, but
Okay.
I don't know. I thought that was an interesting aspect.
That's
why
very
people enjoy it.
interesting.
So I defend it.
Yeah.
Oh, and
I'm gonna have to.
Go ahead. I'll make this after your defense.
No, I'll
Or
completely
kill.
agree with all of that. It's your classic 80s slasher, but with like an extra crazy twist that I just like love so much. Yeah, I think everyone kind of just hits it, with their characters. Like, as much as it's like, as I said, kind of over the top, I feel like it's okay. Like, everyone does what they need to do, and I love it for that, and I love it.
Yeah.
Good choice. Nothing else to say.
That's a good one.
I've one piece of trivia is that the director of this movie dedicated it to his mother,
That was what I was going to say.
which is
Go ahead.
which is very strange because the only mother figure in this movie raised Angela to be a killer, I guess.
Yeah.
Because she's crazy
Yeah.
and made Angela crazy.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Made Peter be a woman against his will as a young boy. But I also like underneath that dedication, it said, "To my mother, a doer." A D-O-E-R.
Yeah.
She must know what that means.
A doer. I guess
'Cause
you
we
do
don't.
things.
That's cool.
You get things done.
Yeah, she gets shit done. But I thought that was interesting. And another piece of trivia I read is that the end scene, that shot, is actually like a college student, a male, obviously, with a mask of Angela that they made and put on
Okay.
his head.
It's a good mask.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's
it is.
It's a mask.
I knew-
of that final.
I knew it was a
scream shot.
mask,
Mm-hmm.
but it's very well done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Which one thing is what I would say is that, I guess spoilers for the second one, but in the second one, there's it's a totally different actress that plays Angela,
Yeah.
and they totally ignore the fact. Oh, they totally know the fact that it was revealed that it was Peter all along.
No, they just
But I think they have like I want to say they have a side bit of information in the beginning that like, oh, they got a sex change. Like that's how I remember it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, I know that the first one was written and directed by the same guy, Robert Hilzitz. I'm mispronouncing his last name. And he didn't come back on until the last return to Sleepaway Camp, which, as I said, the guy from the original, like, produced parts of it, brought back, Richie into it. And I think Angela, right? I believe Angela, the original actress, is back in the third one. And Judy. Fourth one. I think it's the fourth one. The second and third are different people.
I think there's like a movie that's just called Judy.
Yeah, it's like a fan one on their...
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I've heard they've talked about a reboot, but that was like 4 years ago. I don't know what's going to happen.
I would be fine with the reboot, honestly.
It'd be interesting.
Yeah, but
And my last piece of trivia that I researched on this film, just this one in particular, is that Judy, I think Angela, I don't want to mess this up. I think it was Angela, was going to be played by, do you know what I'm saying? No, it was Judy, I'm sorry. It was Judy, not Angela. So Judy was going to be played by Jane Krakowski.
yes,
Yeah.
that would have been interesting.
Mm-hmm. That would have been awesome.
If only, right?
If only. So I think that...
This crazy Jenna. But
I think
I think that's all I have to say about this movie.
Two thumbs up.
Yeah, I think we all give it a rousing defense. Please check it out. It's free on YouTube. I watched it on Amazon, purchased it, so I want to own it now. But it's free on YouTube if you want to check it out. I highly recommend it. And then watch the sequels. In the meantime, get on YouTube, our YouTube channel, and our Facebook, and our website. Look at the new episodes. We'll have a few up soon. And some mini episodes you guys can look at. Let us know what you're thinking. That's what Facebook's all about. That's what Twitter's about. We want to hear what you're thinking. What episodes or movies you'd like us to do. So, get at us. And I hope to have a blog post out soon. I've been a little lazy about that. But I'm going to hope to do that soon. Did I miss anything, guys?
No, I think you got everything.
All right. Well, that's been Sleepaway Camp. Until next time, I'm Matt Johnson. Now remain in the shadows.
I'm Peter Hansen, and I say eat shit.
Oh, that's a good one.
Well, it's hard to follow that, so I'm just gonna end this now.